love cometh forth after the rain, or something really cheesy, or I don't know, whatever it is. Or doubt that the stars shine, or it's probably some Shakespeare thing, or doubt that the stars will fall, or whatever it is. But so doubt all of these things, but don't doubt that I love you ever, sort of thing. So you can have as many doubts as you want about different things, but do not doubt that whoever this person is, you love your children or your husband or your spouse. So it's like just
Welcome to the Uplift Her Leadership Series, a segment on the Self-Care Goddess podcast, a special space where holistic self-care meets high performance and the feminine leads with grace, power, and purpose. This podcast is your pause in a productivity-driven world, a space to reset, regulate, and reconnect with feminine wisdom and visionary leadership. I'm your host, Rita Savoya, holistic nutritionist, trauma-informed breathwork coach, and founder of Breathwork Barista. Each week, you'll hear soul-expanding stories and thought-provoking conversations with women leaders, founders, and change makers who are redefining success and what it means to lead with heart. These are the conversations we need to create the future we desire, rooted in self-care, integrity, and soul-aligned leadership. Breathe in your power. Breathe out the overwhelm. And let's begin. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Self-Care Goddess podcast with a special leadership series, Uplift Her. So before I introduce my beautiful guest, very adventurous guest, I would love for us to walk the talk here and just get into a heart coherence. So we do this from the HeartMath Institute. So I invite you, if you can, to lower your gaze or even close your eyes if that's accessible to you at the moment, sitting with your back straight as much as possible, as much as is comfortable, and just noticing your breath flowing in through the nose and then out through the mouth with a soft sigh. So we're engaging the diaphragmatic breath here, allowing the belly to expand on the inhales and then contract on the exhales, softening our shoulders, softening our jaw, and just allowing the breath to flow freely from the tips of your toes all the way up to the top of your head, and then exhaling from the top of your head all the way to the tips of your toes. And now as you're going up and down, I invite you to scan just very quickly any areas of your body that you might be feeling some tension, some discomfort, maybe some tightness. And I invite you to allow the exhales to flow. So direct the exhales to those areas, or maybe you can just pick one if you have multiple. And here we're using the power of the exhale to help soften and relax those areas. A few more breaths in through the nose, and then with a soft sigh, hopefully those areas have softened a little, have relaxed. And now I invite you to channel these breaths in and out into the area of the heart. Where attention goes, energy flows. So let's energize this beautiful organ that's keeping you alive. Allowing the breaths to expand and contract into the area of the heart. And now I invite you to visualize someone that you're grateful for today. Living or past, visualize this person as if they were right here in front of you. And I invite you to send them all the love, the gratitude, and the appreciation for being in your life. And now let's turn this love and gratitude and appreciation towards yourself and send yourself this beautiful, loving, healing energy for being here, taking the time out of your busy day to listen to this incredible conversation we're about to have, and maybe share it with a friend who may benefit. On your next inhale, Flutter your eyes open and come back to us. Welcome everybody. Thank you for sharing that special moment. It literally just took less than 4 minutes to really ground ourselves and connect with our mind, with our body, and our heart. So from the HeartMath Institute, love those guys. All right, so today's guest knows how to turn travel and food into unforgettable stories. Born and raised in London and now based in Dubai, Monica Kapila is the award-winning creator behind Doin Dubai, a luxury travel and food platform that celebrates premium hotels, safari lodges, and cultural adventures around the globe. With a Master of Science from the London School of Economics and a sharp eye for the best bites in any city, Monica has become a trusted voice in Dubai's luxury circles, someone who connects deeply with her audience through shared tastes and authentic recommendations. But interestingly, before she became a sought-after travel and food curator, Monica once hosted a radio show called Asian London, where her ability to improvise on a live mic earned her rave reviews and an important life lesson. The best impact comes when you're natural and yourself. These days, when she's not exploring the world's best restaurants or curating luxury experiences, you might find her indulging in her guilty pleasure, a cozy post-lunch nap with a podcast in the background, or humming along to the soundtrack of her life, a perfect mix of What a Wonderful World and I Will Survive. Let's welcome to the show the brilliant and adventurous Monica. How are you today? Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you so much, Rita, for that fantastic introduction. I almost didn't recognize myself at all. Had I not written all of that or given the pointers towards it. So thank you very much. It's sort of, you've made me sound, I think, much better than I actually am. So yeah, glad to be here.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, I'm so excited to dive into your personal journey, maybe some lessons learned that you can share with our amazing audience, and yeah, and just get to know you a little more. You are very, very special, extraordinary. You have some amazing background, and I'd love to hear more about that mic gig that you had. So it was just a radio show. What were you doing? What kind of improv were you doing?
Yeah, so this was a long, long time ago before London was, I mean, it's always been kind of multicultural, but I was born and brought up here. To give you an example, when I was at school, and we won't go into how many years ago that was, I was probably the only non-white face in the class. So it's much, much, much more multicultural now than it was even 25, 30 years ago. So this radio show was a bit of a mold break. I mean, now they have kind of more than one Asian station and Asian networks, but this was a BBC thing. It was GLR, which is Greater London Radio, and then they had a show for different ethnicities. So I think they had Jewish London, they had Asian London, they had kind of different things like that. So I don't know how I wangled my way into that. But I was working full-time as a consultant at PwC, it was Pricewaterhouse then. And I thought, right, I can do this. It's an hour a week. How hard can it be? But it is quite difficult to put together a radio show for 1 hour when from, I don't know what it was, from 6:01 to 6:59, you have to have everything sort of sorted and coordinated. And I did it with a co-host. And it was fantastic. And recently, I actually found the cassettes because the recordings of them, I have my friends like, right, record me on a cassette. And I found some of the original ones of those. So I think I need to go put them on a something that's, like a stick or
MP3. Yeah.
And I in Dubai as well, go on and off a bit on radio there. But yeah, I remember that was great fun. But doing that, and I think that actually offered me a full-time job. The GLR, and I mean, looking back, maybe I should have taken it, but it was a third of what I was earning. I had a company car. I was on a good number then, and I thought, oh, too hard to give that up to do this for so much less money. But in hindsight, you know what? Maybe I should have done that.
Really? Okay, let's unpack that a little bit. Why? Why do you think so?
Because one of the things I love doing now, I mean, I'm based in Dubai, so I love listening to Radio 4. I don't know if you or your listeners know about what Radio 4 is. So Radio 4 is what's termed an intelligent speech radio station. So they talk about everything. They talk about culture, they talk about art, they talk about film, they talk about women's issues, they have a load of news. So every morning I wake up and listen to the Global News podcast. And quite often when I'm sort of listening to these podcasts, I'm thinking, God, I would love to have been that person who's finding out about whatever it is they're talking about. I mean, obviously lots of shows are quite nichey, but lots of people have
Mhm.
said, I love your voice. I love how you speak to people. I love listening to how you put things across. And I'm genuinely, I think, a very curious person.
Yeah.
So I do like finding out about lots of things. And I think I'm very enthusiastic about lots and lots of things. And I get excited when I learn a new
Hmm.
fact about something that I thought, cracky, I didn't know that. That's really incredible that I've learnt that. And I remember once we were it was a day out for English tasting wine or something. And it was a wine tasting day out in Kent or somewhere, and it was really good. And there was a whole mix of different people. So one of the group of much younger people said, and Monica, what is it that you do? Because whenever you talk about something, it's like, are you in marketing? You're sort of, it sounds like you're sort of selling it really naturally. And I said, no, I'm not that at all. And just come across like that. So I think maybe that would have been a good thing for me to do. And I genuinely love people as well. And I think for
Yeah.
that kind of job, you come across lots of people.
That's so true, but it's never too late, right?
It's never too late. No, not at
Yeah,
all. Not at all. Yeah.
exactly, for sure. So let me ask you this, do you think that, because I asked someone once, and this really stuck to me, that there really is no wrong decision when you take sort of a path over another one, right? Or like you mentioned, you stayed with PwC versus accepting this full-time job. And he said to me, he's like, because every decision will ultimately lead you to the right decision or the right path that you're supposed to be on. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think he's right in all cases apart from one. And yes, everybody makes the best decision they possibly can at the time, and there's no point beating yourself up about it afterwards. But the worst time, and definitely the wrong decision, is when you're deciding what line to stand in when you arrive somewhere and you pick the wrong immigration line. Because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm behind the longest line and the slowest person. This was a bad decision to make, to choose this line. And there's nothing good
Yeah.
about it. You're just there for longer.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yes, I mean, seriously,
Hmm.
you make the best decision you can at the time.
Yeah.
And you have to live with that. And ultimately, people just say, well, whatever happened, happened for a reason. And it may not be clear to you at that point in the game. But I do believe if people had their time again, and of course, nobody knew
Hmm.
then what they know now. I think we'd all have made different decisions. So yeah, just make the best decision that you can, and your philosophy of life will guide you as to why you made that decision. So
Hmm.
if you just say, well, I don't care, I'm just going to make that, you're probably quite a risk averse person. If you're an overthinker and you think, well, I have to speak to 5 different people and get everybody's view, well, you can't deny your nature. Yeah. So maybe you'd
Yeah.
come up with the same decision as if you hadn't given it any thought. But there's no point in you not being you. So if your nature is, well, I need to do the research and speak to someone and speak to someone else and then confirm and then write down the pros and cons, and then I'm going to make that decision, whatever it's for, whether it's which restaurant to go to, what dish to choose in a restaurant, or something much more serious like which doctor to go for some operation, versus other people are saying, well, we live here, we're not going to go anywhere else. We've been told this guy, let's do it. It's up to you. You can't deny your nature, can't deny who you are.
I agree. I agree. So, in your opinion, you're on this beautiful mission to help people curate these beautiful experiences all over the world. So, what influenced you to start this?
So that's a good story. I have been in Dubai for about 18 years, and we lived in an area called Arabian Ranches. I know you were also in Dubai,
Hmm.
Rita, at some
Yes,
stage.
very
So,
familiar. Yeah.
yeah, so they had a group called Arabian Ranches Ladies actually, and they had activities that you could do. So again, this is going back before there was a lot of knowledge about all the Indian part of Dubai, all the different restaurants that you could go to. So it was all kind of quite segmented, if you like. And
Hmm.
I have an
Hmm.
Indian background. My parents were Indian. I'm of Indian heritage. So I would seek out where to get the best kind of Indian food and things like where to get gold, silver dipped in gold and all of that sort of thing. And that was very much in the Indian areas, which I loved going to. I'm quite creative. I loved this whole idea of having kind of haberdashery and sort of trimmings and all that and lace and everything that you can buy to easily jazz up something that you've got or have something made or copied and the tailors. So all of that side I sought out very, very quickly. So I knew about all of that. And then on the same side, my husband's in the private wealth space. We were taking people out for dinner. We were being taken out ourselves. And it was just the beginning, I think, of sort of this whole Dubai being a bit of a magnet for celebrity chefs. I mean, much, much more so now than it was then. It was the beginning. So we were very privileged. We were lucky. But my tastes were very much, well, actually, if I want this, it has to be really good at this end. And if we're going there, it has to be really good. So what I was finding was at some of the higher end restaurants, and I'm not going to mention any names, we were quite disappointed. So we were thinking, gosh, imagine if somebody had been really excited and done all their research, and then they've gone down this road and had this kind of thing. And actually, it wasn't really nearly as good as it was touted to be. So somebody needs to write objectively about, actually, you know, this is what I think about this without being rude or stepping on any toes, because in Dubai, you don't know who owns what. So that was one aspect. And then going back to Arabian ranches, one of the activities on a Monday morning was how to make websites. So I thought, right, maybe I should try this and potentially write about what I was thinking instead of sending emails to everyone, and WhatsApp wasn't there. And it was like, well, this is the recipe for chicken curry. This is where you go to get gold dipped. And it was these long things. And this is where I do recommend and don't recommend. I said, maybe I should put it in a website. So I spoke to the lady who ran it. And I think she said they were doing it with 15 other people and it was going to cost, I don't know, some tiny amount of money, nothing. And I said, can I pay you like 3 times that, which was still only $10 or something, nothing. And can we learn one-to-one, because I want to do it a little bit more quickly. So that was it, the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Wow.
And I mean, it sounds a bit odd to call someone a web mistress, but she's the backbone and the person who created. And then she said, what do you want to call your website? So I said, well, everyone asks you, what can you do in Dubai? What is there to do in Dubai? There's nothing to do in Dubai, is there? Because at that point it was shopping malls, and there weren't even many shopping malls then. So I said, let's call it Do in Dubai. And let's write about what we can do here. And let's write about what I do here. And at that point, there was a lot of kids-related stuff because my children were at school, and you know, you kind of write about what you're in the thick of at the time. But there was always some recipes. There was always some ideas for restaurants. There was always going out and ethnic supermarkets. My God, Chinese supermarket in Dubai. I mean, type it in Google. My 58-year-old post will still come up because I was on that trail before this plethora of all these shops, because I love cooking with different ingredients, etc. And it was very new then. So that's how we started. And that's how it evolved to what it is now, which is much, much, much less of everything. And it's eating, traveling, and living. So if I'm not eating and I'm not traveling, I'm living.
Yeah, it's like lifestyle things.
And then the socials came along, etc. But that's how it was born.
So amazing. So what is the future of Doin Dubai?
Well, that's a very, very good question. I read quite a lot about what's going on the social media side of things. I think what's happening is people are saying they want to go back to micro influencers as opposed to these macro influencers with millions of followers, because they just don't really think that they are everything they're cracked up to being. There's a bit more of sort of focusing on more niche type things. So I've branched out into the kind of luxury end, but it's luxury end that I've experienced. And I also think people are going back to blogs. So quite often it was like, well, let's do this 20-second TikTok on where I can go and eat in a small town in southern Portugal. Now do that, and I challenge you to come up with a good restaurant. You'll come up with lots of good videos, but I challenge you to come up with a really nice restaurant that you would actually like and eat at. Might happen 1 time out of 10, but I mean, read a blog about someone who you feel you can relate to, who's actually written about their experiences, and if they're sort of recommending a few places, which I do, then 100% you'll come up to that. So I think I'm going to champion more and more of that. I'm also seeing that people love roundups. So the posts of mine that do very, very well seem to be, so one, for example, to give you an idea, is high-end happy hours in Dubai. Now, drinks are expensive in Dubai. They're expensive everywhere. I mean, London is crazy. I'm shocked at how expensive everything is here. It's crazy. But Dubai especially so, and it is known as a luxury destination. But I did a post on high-end happy hours in Dubai. So you can start your evening early, about 5 o'clock, and then hop from one really nice place to another, and experience some very, very nice bites as well with the drinks for a fraction of what they'd cost you. And people are raving about that. They think that's fantastic. So roundup, so best business lunches. Let's just refresh that post. Let's do high-end happy hours. Let's do, things that I would say were a roundup, or the nicest Indian restaurants to eat at Dubai, higher end and casual, for example, because people are always asking me, like, a good Indian restaurant, great Chinese restaurants for just before Chinese New Year. So I think the focus is going to be on more and more of that.
Right.
And that's what I think is working well. I would like to write a little bit more. I do write a little bit on the journalistic side of things, and that does open a lot of doors in terms of reviewing hotels and things like that, and that is lovely.
Right.
But again, so many magazines are just digital now versus print. So that's why we said, right, we're going to just boost up our own presence. So yeah,
Exactly.
I think that's where it's heading. It's good. Yeah.
So what advice would you give someone, a listener, maybe, someone who's really, really keen on starting something like this? Where would you ask them to begin? And maybe perhaps also what to avoid, given some of the challenges that you faced and, knowing what you know now?
Absolutely. Well, first things, it sounds really, really obvious. Why are you bothering? Why are you bothering doing this? It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of your energy. You've got one life. What do you want out of this? Do you want an income? Do you need to monetize it? Are you not bothered about that? If you're not, then how much are you willing to spend? Because, websites can cost an arm and a leg, and then there's add-on, etc., etc. Why are you doing it? So that's the first thing. And then if they are really clear about why it is that they want to do this and they know the purpose of doing it, then it would be to research really, really hard in terms of your content. How are you going to get that content there? And then write down really, really frankly what they are weak at, not what they're good at. What is it that you can't do, right? If it's, say, for example, an easy one is, say you don't know anything about SEO and you really need that to get a successful website up, or a technical thing that you know is really important. It could be even more general than that. How important is that for the success of your venture? And if it is important, how are you going to plug that gap? And how much do you want to spend on that if going back to your purpose is not to make money? So really, you want to hemorrhage money on, say, spending lots on SEO every month? Really? You really want to do that? So it's things like that. What are you weak at? How are you going to plug those weaknesses? How important are they to the success of your venture once you know why you're doing it? Where are you going to get your content from? And then go and start your thing. Then you'll make it happen. For example, like starting a podcast. I have a podcast. It's called Monica Moments. And I started with great gusto. And I, because of this whole radio thing and voice, etc., etc. And it hasn't died, but I just pay for it to keep going. But in terms of the latest podcast that I brought out, was probably 2 years ago. Why? Because unlike guests that I've been a podcast on, I didn't do that thing of let me get 12 pieces of content up and ready and say that's a year's worth of content and work like a demon on promotion because that's all I need to do before I launch this podcast. So I just had 3 pieces up or whatever, and I thought, oh well, I'll just do it as I go along. Not the right thing to do, because why?
Right.
Technically, as far as podcasts are concerned, and you'll know we're on a podcast, doing all the editing and the technical work is not in your hands. Whereas with a blog, everything is in my hands. Other than some technical things, which my website teacher still helps me with, everything is in my hands. So whatever you don't have control of, that's going to be your downfall. So, yeah, I don't know if that's put people off or help them.
No, it's true. And I love that. So no one's ever really framed it that way. And I'm not sure if you've heard of this book, Not How, but Who. So if it's one of your weaknesses, and let's say you don't know how to do SEO, don't learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Just reach out to someone who can. Absolutely. So how easy is it to monetize such a... Is it easy? Is it hard? Or is it work?
Well, it depends. It depends what money is worth to you. So for example, if the idea is to spend a night or two in a beautiful luxury hotel, either complimentary or even for 50% of what it's going to cost you. So I'm just giving you very random examples. Say something cost you, I don't know, $300 a night, as opposed to say $700 a night. Now, that might be more than enough for you in terms of monetizing it, because you're experiencing bits of the world and staying in places that you wouldn't otherwise.
Right.
afford to do, or even if you could afford to, you wouldn't be happy putting your hand in your pocket and paying $700, but you would be okay paying $300. Do you see what I'm saying? And then
Yes.
quite often they'll upgrade you and they'll give you a nice experience and you know, it just makes you feel great to say, hey, this is my contribution to the family. This is what I'm doing. This is really good, and it's more than good enough for me. So that's one
Right.
whole aspect, if truth be told. On the social media side of things, you do get an awful lot of free food, which is great. Again, if they're higher end experiences, then of course you're going to do that for nothing. But I do get paid for the social media side of things on the slightly sort of, you know, less premium experiences where the food is really good. Or more recently, lots of companies have approached me to do meal kits and recipe
Yeah.
planning, which is something I love. I love cooking, and I'm more than happy to review people's offerings, and they know they're going to get someone who knows what they're doing, knows how to cook, will present it very nicely, and they can use those posts to share with their audiences. And then one company, actually, I have to go back and sort it out when I go to Dubai, but I'm excited about it, wants to collaborate with me for some of my recipes too. So that's all a way of monetizing as well. So I don't know, it might be Monica's marinade for chicken or tofu or whatever. I don't know what it is, but I'm excited about that. So it's a whole creative outlet too. But yeah, listen, if the numbers are there, if you have like thousands and thousands of views or thousands and thousands of subscribers, then you know you're just like any other outlet where the eyeballs are there, and then you will get money. You can just say, "Can I have some money for an advert on my sidebar?"
Right.
That's
Right.
very easy
Right.
money, you know. But you need to get your numbers up to do that, as you will know.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. It's all about the algorithm, and it's changing all the
Yeah.
time.
I mean, although it's not entirely about numbers. So I was saying my husband works in private wealth. So we're very lucky in that lots of the clients have become friends and we get invited to lovely things and all the rest of it. So because we do go out quite a lot, they will ask me all the time. So even if you haven't got
Mm,
kind of millions of followers or, you know, even in the 50,000s or whatever, if you
mm,
can say to a place and they know, well, it's like, well, because of the people she knows, I'm going to get 3 or 4 very, very high net worth individuals coming to our thing or doing exactly the same holiday she has the next week because that's who she knows. And quite often these
right.
people are not even on Instagram. They're not even on social media. So the meal kit thing is one example. And this client who's a friend of ours said, Monica, thank you so much for this. And she became one of their best customers. She doesn't know what Instagram is. But I said, you need this because you're here for 6 months of the year and you should try it. And there's a code that you can use for mine. I don't know if she bothered with the code. And she was so grateful. So, you
Right.
know, and it's this sort of quality of followers and people who you know versus
Mm.
only just numbers of followers as well.
No, that's very encouraging, and
Yeah,
yes, definitely inspiring and encourage someone who's really interested in this and in looking into it because yeah, it's always needed. I think right. People do trust other people's opinions. I
of
That's how
course.
I do my things. That's how I plan as well, and I read the reviews. So yeah, it's very needed. So it sounds like you're doing a lot. You do a lot. So I'm just curious, have you experienced burnout in your career at any point? And maybe just talk to us a little bit about some of the warning signs we could be watching out for.
I think burnout, not necessarily in just career, just in terms of life, really, because I am not the main breadwinner in our family. We should get that out there. And I think if you are the main breadwinner in a setup, then you have your priorities. And if you need to earn school fees and pay for the mortgage and all the rest of it, then your priorities are very clear. If you're not that person, then your time is very much okay, whatever free time that you have after that box has been ticked of all the responsibilities. And that could be, well, my husband will say, well, my mum's on her own. Can you fly to Kenya and be with her, please? And now it's not a hardship for me because I love her very much. We've got a great relationship. But you have to drop everything and go. And that's that, basically. And then I am expected to do quite a lot for her. I mean, she's in her 90s now, and she's great. You know, she's always up to go for to a restaurant with me. I know where my time would be channeled. So all my work, career related stuff just gets totally put on the side. And I try and combine the two when I can, but that's not always possible. When my husband first started out his career, the kids were quite young. He was traveling kind of 2 weeks out of every 5. Now, one parent had to be at home and one parent had to focus on doing things. And we didn't have any money. We had very, very little money relative to what we had now. And you just have to do what you need to do in order to have peace of mind and fulfill whatever it is creatively that you can do. But know that I genuinely don't think it's possible to have it all the time for everyone. I don't think that's possible. I mean, yes, maybe if I had gone down that other path and, earn £12,000 a year and kind of be someone really amazing on the BBC Today, and you can do things part-time around all your kids and all the rest of it, fine. But it didn't happen like that. So no, I'm not unhappy with how things are. And yes, of course, you just think, well, with everything that I have to do and I have to organize and it's, it sounds ridiculous, but anyone who's actually managed a larger family, I'm not talking about an immediate family, I'm talking about an extended family. So there are 8 of us, different mixed age groups, different capabilities, and some people are a little more capable than others. So that things will fall on the shoulders of the more capable person. Nothing to do with facilities or access. I mean, we've all got an internet, and it takes a lot of time to research. Okay, what are we going to do? How is this going to work? Who's flying from where? So all of that takes time, and that's nothing to do with my career, but it's like something that has to be done. So sometimes I just feel a bit put upon, if you like, if you know what I mean, thinking I would rather be just doing my own thing, but I can't do that because my role and my responsibility is not to do that. So sometimes I'm a bit naughty when people are a bit dismissive because I don't have this sort of full-time, high-end job. They're like, oh, and what do you do, Monica? And I just turn around and I look at them and say, well, can't you tell? I'm a trophy wife. And some of them are like, really? Really? They're not sure whether I mean it or not. And that's how it is, basically, sometimes. I don't know
I
if
love
that
that,
answers your question or not, Rita.
Yeah, I love it that you are you're owning it. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah,
nobody else's. I mean, if you don't own it, nobody else will. So
exactly.
may as well make sure they know who it belongs to.
Yeah. So I love about if we can go back to that because on this podcast we talk a lot about work life and how to balance it all, the responsibility of your personal life and then your professional life, and is there even a work-life balance? Do we balance it? So I loved how you said you can't always have it all at the same time, right? Can you explain a little bit more about that? Like, is it more about prioritizing? Like, what are your thoughts on balancing or, I don't know, making it work?
So I mean, I'm living in London at the moment on this little holiday. One of my daughters lives in our flat here. She's 26, okay? So I would say we have a really good relationship. I mean, a really good relationship. We're kind of in sync with each other. She loves how I'm cooking. I'm loving her vibe, all the rest of it, whatever. And she works from home, so we're together a lot in not a very big space. But I attribute some of it's luck, always a bit of it's luck. I attribute that to when they were very small, right up to when she left for uni, actually, is being there. So it's not like, okay, I can schedule in quality time between you and me at this time on this day. No, that wasn't going to happen. I would pick them up from school most days and I would say, how was your day? Fine. And if it was monosyllabic answers, that's what you accepted because that's what they were ready to give you. Now, I'm nothing to do with quality time, nothing at all. So I could have had them picked up. They could have gone on the bus. They could have done whatever. I chose to just be there. I chose to be around. So when they were ready to talk about anything, and it's not the deep and meaningful things, it's like, can I have this coffee milkshake with that and whatever? And Mum, can you make it the way you make it? And you're there, whether it's 4:30 in the afternoon or when they've had a nap and woken up at 7 and then they work till midnight. You're there. So if you weren't there, then you don't have that kind of layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of a relationship. And I'm not for one moment saying it's plain sailing, but eventually, and we've all gone through those dark tunnels, especially with teenagers, you do go through that tunnel and out the other end. And now my older daughter says, God, Mum, I think I'm becoming you, basically, in terms of sort of being responsible and all the rest of it. So that's an example of you not being able to have it all, or you could have just said, well, I'm going off and doing this job that I want to do, that I love doing. and I'm not here. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
fine. And then just say, oh, well, now I'm not doing this job and I have my money or whatever it is, and I'm, whatever. Do you have time for me? And your kids are going to quite say no, because you don't have time for me. No, that won't always be the case. But I do
Right.
think we've seen a lot of people go off the rails and families imploding, and
Mm.
everyone's family there's no such thing as perfect family. Everyone's families are a bit dysfunctional. But I think I'm glad that the time spent is paying good dividends. And
Yeah.
that's what I think and that's not only with my kids, it's my children, my husband, my in-laws family, my brother, and all the rest of it. It's difficult. It's not an easy thing, and it's not something that money can buy. It's not, well, let me earn the money now and work on the relationship later. It doesn't work.
Yes. No,
So in that
I agree.
regard, the balance between work and that is, but again, it goes back to, I'm very lucky. We did sacrifice quite a lot in the beginning. I'm not ashamed to say that we would go to the secondhand shop and buy puzzles for 50p or whatever, because, they just get thrown anyway. Rather than spend very big money on toys and stuff, because we didn't have it. So, it's just priorities as and when. And I was lucky that eventually, as things panned out, that, I didn't have to earn to support our lifestyle. But I think if you
Mhm.
do have to do that, then you have to prioritize as well.
Yep. It's true. It's true. I do like the word prioritize, right? And what we've talked about on this podcast is if today you can't go to your, kids recital, it's okay. You can go next week, right? Or you can go to the next one, right? Like, don't, but a lot of women are trying to do it all and they beat themselves up, and then there's that resentment and that guilt,
No,
and those emotions are going to be internalized, right? And this is what I teach in my breathwork experiences, is that our issues get stuck in our tissues, and then that causes, and this is science too, right? It causes acidity in the body, and that acidity lowers the pH, and then all kinds of like issues happen, right,
it's
with
true.
low pH. So yeah, and I hope and I wish that every woman listening just takes a little some notes off of what you've talked about, and it is about prioritizing and not beating
I
yourself
mean,
up and doing what you can at the moment. Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, having said that, though, I think one thing, regardless of your financial situation, that all women, I think, and men should prioritize, because you don't get another chance, regardless of your circumstances, is your health. So
Yes.
if you, it doesn't matter. It's sort of like that thing that they tell you on a plane, is put your own oxygen mask on before you
Yeah.
attempt to help other people. And it's the same with anything. I could not be there or do anything or be of any use to anybody if I was not fit and able and well, emotionally, physically, mentally, myself. So whatever you feel you need to do, if it's like, stop this merry-go-round, I need to get off for whatever reason, for a length of time, do it, because you won't be good
Yeah.
to anyone else. If you fall apart, someone's very, very ill, and I don't know, whatever, it could be like really fatal. You don't have any right to start crying, because they're the ones that are really ill. But if you can't help yourself, if you're, I mean, I'm not wanting to say weak, if you're not together yourself, you're of no help to anyone else. So you need to be okay. And I think it's different for different people. For me, it's very much if I'm physically healthy and I work really, really hard on that, it seems to be easier to then be more mentally healthy.
Mhm.
So when I've had some quite sticky moments in my life, I have turned to yoga, and I have just done it like a demon. Once I was just crying through a class, and my friend said to the teacher, ignore her, just carry on as though like everything's fine. And we've all had situations where friends are like that. It's like, she's fine, just ignore it, continue as normal. They know what they're doing. And physically, if you can get there, and you even have a little fridge magnet on or whatever, I can't remember some of mine that I've got on my fridge now. I wish I could. I think it's something like love cometh forth after the rain, or something really cheesy, or I don't know, whatever it is. Or doubt that the stars shine, or it's probably some Shakespeare thing, doubt that the stars will fall, or whatever it is. But so doubt all of these things, but don't doubt that I love you ever, sort of thing. So you can have as many doubts as you want about different things, but do not doubt that whoever this person is, you love your children or your husband or your spouse. So it's like just, and another one was, a strict routine saved my sanity. And I think
Yes.
that's a magnet that I've got on my fridge. I remember that one. So it's that. So routine It keeps you
Yes.
physically very, very well. Be proud of what you look like when you look in the mirror, because you will see yourself in that mirror, however it is. And through that, I think, comes mental strength. And if you are mentally there and physically there, then you can help other people as well as yourself. And I think that balance is probably the most important balance to have. And then you can, as a foundation, to go forward on whatever other things you need to balance in your life.
Monica, wow. Mic drop. I think we can end this conversation right now. That was beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it was very interesting because my next question was going to be, what are your top three self-care strategies that keep you energized, right? But I love what you're saying, that the physical part. So for some, it's mental, and then the mental will get them into the physical and emotional, right? Some people work on their emotional, and then kind of it opens up the gateway to improving their physical health. I love how you're saying your physical health is a priority, and then everything falls into place when it comes to your mental and emotional, because you're so strong physically. And yes, because it's all related, right? It's all interconnected. They don't work in silos, right? If you have a strong physical health, then you will definitely have that resilience, that mental resilience, right? And that emotional resilience as well. So yoga is one of them. What is your the other two?
Well, not yoga at the moment because I fractured my toe 4 or 5 weeks
Right.
ago.
I know. Sorry
My
to hear
lovely
that.
doctor said, yoga is the last thing that you could do. I've just about managed to put some trainers on my feet, so I'm missing exercise a lot,
Yeah.
other than sort of a bit of walking here and there. Um, you know what? Whatever works for you, whatever you love doing. If I have a million things to do of a day, but I know I really enjoy cooking, I will plan
Mm.
what it is that I'm going to cook and put it there, and know that I'm going to look forward to doing that, whether it's sort of baking some apples with cardamom and cinnamon later for a dessert with kind of seeds all over it instead of flour and butter for crumble. It's whatever you genuinely like doing. Identify that and make time to do that, even though you have a really, really busy day. I mean, it's all very well saying, yes, surround yourself with people you love and all the rest of it. But I mean, we've all felt, there's an expression in England which they call Billy No Mates. And it's like, God, I've got no friends. We all feel like it's all very easy saying surround yourselves with people who are like-minded in your tribe and all the rest of it. Well, sometimes it's really hard to find those people. They're not there, right? They're just not there. They're in London and you're in Dubai, or you're in Dubai and or whatever, or vice versa, or they're not free because they're working and you're not, or I don't know. So I think that's a bit glib to say surround yourself by like-minded people. I mean, we'd love that. If everyone was able to do that, no one would have any problems, would they? Because no one would be lonely. So it's rubbish saying that. Find things you enjoy doing that are within your control. So exercise is one of them for me. I do love cooking, so I do that. I like things to look nice. I mean, not a control freak wise. I don't like leaving my room until it's all tidy and it looks nice. I like really, really nice bed linen. So the hotel we were staying at, they had fantastic sheets. And I said, gosh, do you sell these? Thinking they'd be a few million euros. And he said, oh, yes, we do. And I said, how much are they? And he said, I don't know, for a double sheet and a king sheet and two pillowcases, it was 100 euros. I said, can you just send them to my room because I'm taking them home? And I don't care what people think, And 5 other women did the same when they learned it was for sale. So be yourself, identify what it is that you enjoy doing. Nothing to do with money. I mean, it doesn't have to do with money. That's there. It's always there. I mean, I just did a punt just now yesterday. I get emails from PR people all the time. And they're saying, oh, this activation is happening, that activation. And there was a lovely one on Negroni Week, and it was happening in Hutong in Dubai. And I said, oh, I'm not in Dubai at the moment, but I'm in London. Could I try this here? Just chancing it, basically, to see. Because it would be really good. What a lovely thing to do. And I thought it's not going to happen. And she came back with an email immediately saying, oh, I'm so sorry, they're not doing it in Dubai. But they're not doing it in London. It's only in Dubai. I said, oh, don't worry, it's fine. Maybe we could, review it as something else. I didn't think anything of it. And she came back to me this morning saying, I was wrong. They are doing it in London. When would you like to go? So I'm very excited about that as well. So my strategy, so I'm going and reviewing that. So watch on Doin Dubai Instagram for the Negroni review. But my point is, always have a go. Always try. Because you never know what's going to come around, right? So if I hadn't sent the email to say, oh, How about I review this in London for you? Thinking nothing, I didn't think it was going to work. I didn't think it wasn't going to work. And initially it didn't, because she said, well, it's not activated in London. And then she went back and said, oh, actually it is. You never know. But if you don't try, you'll never know, right? So don't give up just because, you think, well, it hasn't worked in the past. I mean, don't give up. If it's not too difficult, it's like a couple of emails, and it might be 2 of 202 that you've written that day. Don't give up, because something will boomerang back to you at some point. But don't do it because of what will boomerang back to you. Just do it because if you don't try, you never know.
And what's the worst that can happen? No. It's a no.
What can happen is you spend a lot of time doing emails. I mean, that's the worst that can happen. And then you can enjoy deleting all of them because it's junk, right? I mean, then make space on your computer. Go for a walk or something. Go do your cooking because you've done. But you can't say, well, had I done that, this could have happened. Had I reached out to that person, that could have happened. So you've done your best. It's kind of one of those do your best and leave the rest. There's a bit of that as well.
Yes. It reminds me of there's a very famous hockey player here in Canada. His name is Wayne Gretzky, and he has a famous quote that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So, you talk a lot about luck, but I do believe that you create your own luck as well by doing these things, right? Sending those 200 emails, even knowing that maybe one person might get back to you, right? But you created that opportunity yourself.
I actually deleted 300 emails yesterday, so I didn't send that many. I felt very good. Yeah, after 10 days of holiday, it was good.
Right? Yes. So, Monica, what's one rule you've joyfully broken on your way to where you are today?
A rule that I've broken on my way to today?
If you have.
If I've broken a rule, I think I break all the rules all the time because the saying is rules were made to be broken. I mean, you make the rules. And then you say, right, I've understood that rule and I know how it works. It's got to be 1,000 hours of doing this to be successful in this. And I'm going to, send out this many newsletters per month and write this many posts and be religious and stick to the calendar. And then you'll get a message and someone will say, shall we go for coffee? I'm like, yeah, mate. Like, where are we going? I thought you'd never ask. And then you just think, well, blow that for like what I was supposed to do today, because why not? You might not be here tomorrow, and that might be a lovely experience to go for coffee. And any opportunity any rule that results in potentially interacting with someone you have fun being with, or that might be interesting, I will go for it. Yeah, I think that's my rule. And sometimes people, I'm of a different generation. Younger people are saying, Mum, how could you just talk to someone randomly? They're just a stranger. And I'm like, well, you never know, do you? You talk to someone randomly and who knows what might happen. So I think I'm doing less of that, though, especially in London. People are saying it's becoming a lot less safe. And I mean, it's not what it was. So, you need to know the rules and you need to know when to break them. But I think anything that will result in a great interaction with people who you think would be interesting, I will go for.
Thank you.
And I break loads of rules as far as cooking are concerned. All the time. I did a melon salad with a curry like mustard seed and curry leaf dressing. And my husband's like, what are you doing? We do that for prawn curry. What are you doing putting it on a melon salad? And I just said, wait and watch. It was fantastic. And everyone wanted the recipe. So I break rules as far as recipes are concerned all the time. Yeah, and they usually come out very well.
So I like to bake and cook as well. I love to eat. So you need to, I don't know, I just find like I love doing it myself as well. I cannot follow a recipe, Monica. I'm just like, oh, it's asking for this. Oh, maybe I'll add this, or maybe I'll put this instead. So interestingly, when people ask me, can you make that dish again? And I'm like, ooh, I'm not sure if I remember what I did, because I'm always switching it up.
Well, you need to write a recipe blog. That's what you need to do.
Yes,
if you'd like the recipe for this, it's in the link below.
Yeah, so I do have it on my website, yes, but it's the ones that I've done more often. And I really enjoy it. And you're right, for me, it is self-care. It's so therapeutic because you're starting something and then you're finishing it and then you're watching people enjoy it. It's just such a beautiful way to just experience life, as you mentioned, right? It's beautiful. So you mentioned you have a daughter. What legacy do you hope to leave behind to the next generation of women?
I've got two daughters. Can't mention
Okay.
one without the other. I think I think a lot about my mum, and she's no longer
Mm.
alive. And I think, what had she left me legacy wise in terms of living? And I keep thinking she would want me to live the way that she would want me to live in a way that's as full as possible, and that would uphold or shine the fact that she brought me up well, if you know what I mean. So it's like, I am my mother's
Mm.
daughter, and I hope my daughters will be my daughters as well, and people will know them for being brought up well, for being
Mhm.
really good human beings. But I mean, that sounds a bit cheesy, but it's like, everything that you'd want in a good human being, really. Very strong sense of family values, I think. Very strong
Mm.
sense of respect for older people. Family first. So I think a lot of my legacy, our legacy, is built around that, and how important family is, regardless of how dysfunctional they are. You've got to keep trying. That's kind of one thing that's very solid in today's quite flimsy world. The values of hard work, I think. Look, everyone gives their kids as much as they possibly can based on their circumstances and their values,
Mhm.
but I feel you have to teach them value for money, and it's not. And I think they've got that now. They've 100% got that. It's not like we can't afford to give them more, but it's like, no, this is what we are giving you, and this is what you have to manage within. And it's just learning to live within your means is a very,
Mm.
very, very important thing. So that the legacy of even if you are entitled to have a bit more than you can because of what we can afford, uh, be aware that we've given you loads and loads and loads, and live within those means and make your own way as well. But there's always, always, always a net for you to fall,
Mm.
should you need it. So I think it's that value for money, because being, again, in the private wealth space, we're so, so, so privy to people who waste money, to people who don't value what they've got, to people who just
Mm.
think of think of money that they have as a sense of entitlement, and then waste it.
Mhm.
Not
Mhm.
waste it, but just
Mhm.
don't use it as wisely as it should be used. So I think they've got. I hope the legacy that I leave is: work hard, use your money very, very wisely, family first, good sense of values, respect, and look after yourself. Because look like that whole thing of look after yourself. Be proud of who you are, and not only in terms of who you look like, but be proud of what you are and how you come across to people, because that's going to reflect on us. How you are and how you come across in society and everywhere else is a complete and direct reflection on us. So if you think
Mhm.
you're reflecting well on us, then you go ahead, you're behaving in the right way. If you think it's not going well, then this is people are going to say it's my fault. So I don't think
Mhm.
I think that's the sort of main legacy. And then, yeah, go out.
Mhm.
The world is yours. In every card and birthday card, it's like, we make up that they're stars and they're shining, and the world is theirs for the taking, and all the characteristics, and we take every single characteristic we can out of a picture on a card or whatever, and we try and imbibe in them values that we're so proud of them, and we think they're incredible and amazing. But that's what you do. You boost your children up. That's what you have to do, because then
Mm.
they'll feel valued and important. And if they
Mm.
feel valued and important, then other people will value and
And they'll
proud
continue that
as well. Yeah.
tradition
Yes. And if you
with
don't think
their
you're
family.
worth anything, well, other people will think the same, right?
Yes, for sure. It's
Yeah.
a reflection,
So
definitely.
bit of that without being kind of Macbeth and arrogant and all that business. Think of yourself as
Mhm.
important, but not too important.
Yes, fine balance. So, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Oh gosh, one piece of
Mhm.
advice. Um, I mean, there's so many pieces of advice. Just one piece of
Maybe-
advice.
Yeah, maybe you can just pick one younger self, like maybe in your 20s or 30s or a particularly challenging time.
One piece of advice. I think just do what you're good at. Don't
Hmm.
do what would earn you more money. Don't do science A levels, because you could potentially become a dentist or a doctor, and most Indian people were sort of pigeonholing people into that. If you got an A in English Lit and French, go for it. Go study languages. Do what you're good at. Yeah, just do what you're good at, and don't push yourself to do things that you're mediocre at, but you could pretend and get away with making people believe that you're good enough at. Do what you're genuinely good at, and then everything will come back to you.
So beautiful. That's so true. I really, really value that. So a lot of people choose careers based on pressure from families and just society, and then they end up either switching or being very miserable and
Yeah.
waiting for that retirement age when, by 65, your life is gone in a blink. So I do highly recommend that for sure. Do what you're good at. And so there's this beautiful, I can't remember which therapist, but he talks about, what did you do when you were like 5, 6 years old? What were you doing? Because that's actually what you love to do and what you're probably really good at. And kind of, obviously, turn it into a career. Because if you were a magician and if you'd like to be a magician, or maybe you can be a magician, but just in terms of what were you doing as a young child that you really loved when you were free from any societal pressure or family pressure to be who they want you to be, and kind of unpack that. That's a cute little exercise you can do for sure. So what does success mean to you at this stage of your life, Monica?
Um, what does success mean to me? Success is just the little things. It's just the little things. It is being in London with my daughter right now, still in contact with friends I've had for 30 years, and I don't have enough slots in 2 weeks to do everything that I want to do and see everyone I want to see. I think that is a really successful life. I'm so excited. I'm going to the Cartier exhibition at the V&A Museum tomorrow with a friend I've known for 30 years, and then we're going to have something to eat in the members' room. So I'm so excited about that. I'm going to meet another friend on Saturday to have this really nice Taiwanese noodle thing. The Hutong thing is really nice. I'm going to with my daughter. I love living in Marylebone, living in London. I love the fact I'm going back to Dubai. So everything, success is like life, it's the whole thing. It's like life is successful. Yeah, I think I am successful in my life. What does it mean? It means going pretty much where I want to go, being with who I want to be a lot of the time, not all of the time. Because as I said, a lot of the time I'm in Dubai and my friends are here, or my old friends are here. It's knowing that we're going to have a lovely holiday in Kenya. We've just had a fantastic wedding that we've attended in Portugal. I'm sitting here in London with you. My husband and my older daughter are in Dubai. It's like, what's not to feel? What do you feel has failed in your life if you have all of that? I mean, yes, I can kind of go on and on about house prices in Dubai, and the AC doesn't work, and it's raining in London, and like I'm feeling very fat having not exercised with my bad foot. But what's the point? And I could have like a lot more subscribers and a lot more views and 10,000 more Instagram followers or 50,000 more Instagram followers, but I'd be so insecure then. I'd wake up tomorrow and think, God, are they still there? Are they still there?
Right.
So like,
Right.
Don't have to worry about it. So what is there to feel like that something has failed? I don't think so. I mean, yes, of course we feel, oh God, like look at that person. It's quite often when you compare yourself to others and you think, what? How, with that little intelligence, have they got there? How the hell have they done that in 18 months? And I've been doing this for so many years. You think that is not fair. That is rubbish, complete rubbish. But it's not that you failed,
Because they're on their journey and you're on yours,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. I mean,
and it's the little things.
Either they're luckier or they've bought followers or they're, but if
Right.
someone's pretty and they're sort of really good looking and they're very successful and they don't seem to work very hard at it and they're very happy, well, that's disgusting, isn't it? You just think, oh, that's just horrible. Not fair. Totally not fair. Who said life was fair, right?
Right, exactly. And it's true. It is the little things, and it is your perception of that, of success, right? Yeah, such a beautiful concept you shared. So we're going to move to the fun rapid fire questions, Monica. And so, they're just sort of quick, one word, whatever comes to mind. Don't overthink it. Just a little fun to end this beautiful, amazing, inspiring conversation. So you ready?
As I ever will be.
All right. One word to describe you as a leader.
Strong.
If your leadership style were a dance move, what would it be? And if you don't know the name of it, you can just show us.
Dance move for a leadership style. Tango.
Oh, nice. Morning person or night owl?
Morning, early morning. Earlier the better.
How early?
Oh, I mean, like when I wake up, maybe 6:30, 6:45.
Oh,
It's not
wow.
that early.
Coffee, tea, or something else?
Coffee, coffee, coffee. All morning I could drink coffee. Love coffee. Husband's from
Me too.
Kenya. Love coffee. Yeah.
Mountains or oceans?
Ooh, a bit of both, but if I had to choose, I would say oceans because they're probably safer in most cases than mountains. But I mean, a beach
Pizza
with a mountain behind would be.
is beautiful. Yeah, which I guess Portugal has a lot of
Yes,
those
yes,
too,
yes,
right?
yes. We went to Setúbal. Yeah, it did have
Yeah.
exactly that, exactly that.
So pizza or pasta?
Oh, so long as it's good, it doesn't matter, but probably pasta.
And if you were a kitchen appliance, which one would you be and why?
Thermomix, 100% Thermomix. Do you know what a Thermomix is, Rita?
No, I
Okay,
don't.
so a Thermomix is the Porsche of kitchen appliances because it is fantastic and it's the thing I miss most of all. If you didn't
Is
have
it
a
like
kitchen, you'd have a Thermomix. So basically, it's like the size of a kettle, but it sits in its own holding unit, and
okay?
the kind of function comes from its name. So it's Thermomix, and it's over 50 years old. It was developed over 50 years ago by a woman who just wanted to make and heat food for her baby. So the making is the mixing part. So she wanted to whiz up some whatever it was, but she always also wanted to warm it up, and that's the thermo part. So it is one of the most powerful processors I think that is on the market. So it gives you a lot of control over what it is you want to eat. So if you have a very small household and you think, well, I want to make a flatbread, like an Indian flatbread, with 3 mixes of hard grains like chickpeas or millet or whatever, you can just put in 50 grams or 100 grams. 10 seconds, it's into flour, and then you can add your salt.
Wow.
Then you can add dough, add water, and you press dough, and it's turned it into dough. I mean, no, it doesn't roll it out and do this. So in terms
Yeah.
of control, fantastic. If you want to make a chocolate cake or those energy balls, and you've got horrible things like prunes and dates and things that you want to whiz around, 5 seconds, put the whole lot in, take it
Wow.
out, just turn it into balls. If you want to make a chocolate cake, like a brownie or whatever, no saucepan, no nothing, just bang the chocolate bar on the side, melt the chocolate, add the eggs, do everything, put it in. All you do is you pour it in a baking pan and bake it.
Yeah, yeah.
Steaming dumplings, steaming chicken, steaming fish, everything, wrapping stuff up in a paper, marinating, fantastic. So yes, definitely Thermomix. And there is a blog post on that as well. Thermomix in Dubai. Monica Kapila's post will come up because I did it so many years ago. Love it.
Okay, I'll definitely check it out because I have the Vitamix. So that does very similar, but I'll look into
But
this
it
for
doesn't
sure.
eat, it doesn't cook things, does it? It will process things. Does it cook?
Yes. No, no. I mean, I've tried to make my own Nutella and it did cook it a bit because I might. I'm not using it to the full capacity for
Yeah.
sure.
Maybe the later models would, but it won't. I don't think it would steam and do all
No,
that. No.
no. Yeah, I don't think it gets to that
Yeah.
high heat for sure. So, what is your oddly specific superpower? Like always finding the best parking spot or picking the fastest grocery line?
Turning leftovers into gourmet meals.
Ah, nice.
Always.
Very nice. Very nice. Like the paella, right? The paella was actually a bunch of like leftover stuff.
Okay, I
And they're
didn't
like,
know
oh,
that.
let's add rice. And that's how it came about. That's why you have chicken and you have shrimp and you have fish. Like it's just such a big mix of different
I think
ingredients.
also for me, it's making a little bit of food go a long way. I'm kind of quite good at
Yes.
doing that. So if you have a mandolin and 1 courgette, I'll send you a picture. You can maybe add it to the podcast for what we had for lunch yesterday. 1 courgette, and we did courgette carpaccio. But because you're slicing it so thin and then marinating it and putting loads of stuff on top, it goes a long way. It's like our main dish. So it's really good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I just actually had some quinoa. The quinoa and the peas were the only yesterday for lunch, the only things that were not from my vegetable garden. My
Oh,
dad
nice.
tends to it. Everything, the courgette, the yellow one, the green one,
Lovely.
the chives, yeah, the tomatoes. Oh, so good. It's just such a refreshing, nice salad for the summer. Okay, so if you could instantly master one new skill, Monica, just like that, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know, SEO, something like that. If I could do SEO and do it well and do it quickly without having to pay someone, that might be quite good.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I like that. And what's next on your bucket list? So this is like such a fitting question for you because you do a lot of traveling. So in immediate and then future, maybe 10 years from now, and you can pick whether it's personal and professional. But what's next for you?
Well, where we want to go, and it will probably be down to me to plan the itinerary, and it's not especially unique to me, is to do a trip to Japan. So we're very
Mm,
keen to do that as a family next year. It's a big place, and it's not that far from Dubai, 9 hours, but it's not a quick trip. So it's going to be a solid 10, 12 day trip to at least 2 or 3 bits of Japan. I think that's in the medium term. The immediate future is at the end of September, we are going on a very long awaited and very highly curated safari in Tanzania. So I'm very
mm,
excited about that and looking forward. We're going with a group. We're very excited to curate and talk all about that, and I'll do lots of posts on that. It's a wilderness collection, which is actually a really nice. It's 2 different lodges in Ngorongoro Crater and Warangi Ridge. And then I think I'm looking forward to just our Christmas holiday, which is we're renting a villa in Diani, which is on the south coast of Kenya. So we know the
mm.
area, but we've never really done this rent a villa with all of us before. And again, it goes back to, and they have a chef on site, and we know we can go get the vegetables from Mama Lucy down the road and all of that. So I think that will be very fun. Yeah, and we have a restaurant called
Mhm.
40 Squid that we can walk to 10 minutes down the beach. I think that will be fun
Nice.
vibes. Yeah, fun vibes.
Such beautiful
So
places.
yeah, that's
When
this year.
Oh, so fun. I'm just curious, when you go away, do you curate all or do you leave some to like, okay, we'll just see if we want to stay here another day, then we can, or is it like pretty much all planned? Like let's say Japan, those 12 days will be
They will
all
be very
planned.
planned. I mean, the hotels and the places, 100% very planned. Probably some of the activities. So recently we were in Portugal, as you know, and we had some of our activities planned for us, which was amazing. I did not imagine we could even do that much in a day. So sort of tours of the Livramento, which is the biggest seafood market in Europe. We had oyster tastings there. Then they took us on a boat. We did a boat trip, and then we went from there to a wine tasting. It's like, how can you do all this in a day? And I don't think I
Mhm.
could have planned it all. So in that regard, it was all done for us, and it was done because it was a collaboration. And I will be writing. It's all on my story on the Portugal highlights, but I will be writing posts about all of that as well. Um, so yeah, a lot of places, if it is done as a collaboration, I do curate and talk about it as well. And if it is worthy of sharing, then I will share it anyway.
Mhm.
And if I'm too tired, I won't bother. If I've
Yes.
got a collab and I'm tired, I'll just forget it. Don't take my phone out. Just leave it in my bag.
Yeah, I love because I love traveling as well,
Mm.
and I love planning somewhat, but other things it's just like if you meet someone on the road and they start talking about a certain place, it's like, oh, okay, then maybe we should go check that out too. Because
Definitely.
sometimes they're missed, right? They're not on the reviews, they're not on these like travel reviews as well. Sometimes things are missed, and you're right, it is about just chatting to a stranger, and I tend to do that
Always.
a lot.
Always. And even finding hotels. So the last night in Lisbon, we we decided to stay in Lisbon because there were some friends of ours coming back from the wedding. They were also doing the last night in Lisbon, and I'm like, God, where do we now stay in Lisbon? So it was a different hotel, but we wanted to be near them because we were sharing the van down from Porto, so we didn't want to be across the city. And they were staying somewhere that was, I don't know, like 800 euros a night, and I thought, I'm not spending that. That's way, way, way too much money. But I found somewhere almost, I would say, equally nice. Okay, it didn't have a rooftop, which was literally across the square from them. If they had looked out of their window, and I loved it. But it did take a lot of research, and it was a new hotel, and it had only been opened a year, and it was beautiful. And it
Mm.
was the Montbello Vista Alegre hotel, and I kept saying, "What is this about Vista Alegre? Vista Alegre?" When I got there, I chose it. Well, what attracted me to it was they had beautiful china plates on their wall on the website, which had really beautiful flowers on them. And I thought, God, that looks so nice. So long story short, Vista Alegre was the first factory that manufactured fine porcelain in Portugal. I'd never heard of it. So this hotel,
Right.
which is part of this group, the Montebello group, Vista Alegre, was because it's in that area where the original factory was. And there's the most beautiful, beautiful shop. Couldn't afford anything in there, Vista Alegre shop. Literally 2 minutes from the hotel. And that's why that was the whole connection. And it was stunning. I cannot tell you how lovely the whole vibe was. So there's something about your psyche that will hone in
Yes.
on the things that are important to you. And it goes back to setting a beautiful table with beautiful glassware and beautiful plates and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And here is this Vista Alegre that I'd had no clue about. I just thought it was the name of the hotel. And a fraction of the price from the one across the road. Less than half.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So
So you definitely have to share that one.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. Thank you for sharing that on the show. So to wrap up in closing, if you could gift every woman listening one thing today, tangible or not, so think of Oprah, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. What would it be?
Certainly not a car. Don't need a car. Certainly don't. God, a car would be such a liability in so many cities in the world and cost you so much money. I think I would give them the gift of being able to cook really well for whoever they wanted, for themselves or other people. Because if you have the ability to cook and create things, then it doesn't matter if you have, 2 apples and a leek or something, you will create something really good. I mean, everyone knows how to eat well, right? Everyone knows what they like and what they don't like. But learn how to cook really well. And you will be able to look after yourself, look after people you love, potentially impress people, maybe make do with less money. And if you do have money, you will really know how to spend it well as well, if you know how to cook well. Or even get other people to cook for you, but you will tell them how to do it.
I love that. Thank you. That was beautiful. And I do believe that a healthy home is made up of very, very healthy food, right? It's the foundation of a healthy home.
100%, 100%. In fact, I just wrote an article. I haven't shared it. But I'll probably put it on my blog. And it was how to train your palate to want less sweet things. And it wasn't like, oh, go without this and don't eat that and don't eat that. And the whole thing was like how to just naturally and slowly make yourself not want those sweet things anyway, because you've trained your palate very, very slowly. Not want it anyway. And then it's easier to resist things that are annoyingly sweet, or if you do want them or crave them, you're satisfied a lot more quickly after 2 bites or something. So it's easier to do your portion control as well.
It's so true. And then you'll actually experience how sweet, believe it or not, a blueberry can be.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wow, that natural sucrose, right? From a berry that's not really that sweet, but take away the processed sugar.
Exactly. And you'll just think, I can't eat that chocolate bar anymore. It tastes like plastic. It doesn't actually taste like food. So in that regard, it's very, very easy to do. If you know
retraining,
and then if you have some control and you can do it yourself, then you choose more wisely as well, and then it all comes full circle. You just need very expensive plates to put it on. That's all, to make it look nice.
Well, from Vista Allegra, maybe, who knows? That's a little nice gift for yourself. Well, thank you so much, Monica. This has been so inspiring. I definitely loved so many golden nuggets that you shared with us today. Can't wait to turn them into clips and then share them with the world. Can't wait to share this podcast episode as well. And thank you for being so cool and wanting to do this and saying yes, right? Opening yourself up to this experience, talking about your journey, and just giving us so much to think about, so many beautiful, inspiring things that you talked about and you shared and what worked for you. And I say, yes, go for that radio talk show. I say, do it. And then have you on again and talk about that experience. So I can't wait. And hopefully when I'm in Dubai, we can connect for sure. I'd love that. And I really, really enjoyed this conversation. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart. And I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed.
Well, thank you very much, Rita, for making my afternoon so enjoyable and unpredictable and unlike what I thought it was going to be like. It was lovely to chat to you. Thank you for being a bit of a therapist and asking me to look at who I am and get it out there. And I really hope if anyone is inspired by anything that I've said, that I will be so glad and more than happy for people to reach out. But yeah, thank you so very much as well.
Yes. Oh, actually, do you want to mention your Dubai?
If I'm allowed
Yes,
to,
your
yes,
handle.
please. That would be really nice. So basically, the Instagram is where it all happens, as close to time in real time, because it's easiest to share on there. And that's the Instagram at Doin Dubai. That's at and then Do in Dubai, no spaces, black and white logo. There is a blog that people can subscribe to. They can get insider information on really good places to eat, where to go, where to drink, very, very well for not crazy money at all. And that's the blog at doindubai.com. Or they can reach out to me professionally on LinkedIn at my name, Monica with a C and Kapila with a K.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your afternoon and evening. And I cannot wait to share this incredible conversation. Mwah. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you very
care.
much, Rita. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on Uplift Her Leadership Series, a special segment of the Self-Care Goddess podcast. If this conversation lit something up in you, please share it with a fellow change maker, and let's keep building a new model of leadership together. Follow me on ritasavoya.com and stay connected for more conversations that blend well-being, wisdom, and bold feminine leadership. Until next time, breathe mindfully, live intentionally, thrive gracefully, and remember, self-care is your superpower. Ciao for now.